On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. So much to cover. Certainly the J6 bomber guy. We finally know who that is. The pipe bomber guy. Yeah, that's out. We even have a name. It's fantastic. Whole bunch of stuff going on. Got a lot of video. I feel like this is going to be a 14-hour long video. So yeah, let's get the ball rolling because me chatting's not going to help. Wanted to share a quick bit about the sun. The sun's got some craziness going on. Hasn't done anything crazy yet. But the one that shot all those solar storms at us, those sunspots last time, yeah, those are now coming back into focus, and there's this crazy pattern of them. Very strange. I can't. I've been watching the sun a long time. I mean, not every day like this guy. This guy's awesome. Space Weather News. Check him out. Suspicious Observers is what he used to be. Ben Davidson. This is brilliant, dude. Like him a lot. The ego's getting a little bit, but whatever the case is, this guy's awesome. Check out what's going on with the sun. Just, wow.
Let's get started with the last 24 hours on our star, where we find that yesterday's filament destabilization did precede a bigger eruption, just not the one we were worried about. Triggered the top right event. Meanwhile, the big sunspots are still turning in. The corona hole is departing, but its solar wind has already arrived. We're going to hit a solar flare that occurred this morning and then the solar storm. An M-class event at the incoming spots likely produced a small CME, but it's what these spots do in the coming days that would be more concerning. The southernmost group especially is too titanic to stay silent much longer. We are watching the X-ray flux closely for more flaring events. Meanwhile, the solar wind amplification we were expecting did occur. It was moderate, solid density to the shockwave, but only moderate speed. We managed to take a G3 storm condition in the magnetic field of Earth yesterday, definitely unexpected by the experts. The reduced yellow marks after it is what we were expecting. Initial impact was too dramatic once again
because the Earth started peeing. We got scared. Yeah, no, we got the solar storm, the solar winds, just because our magnetic field is so weakened. That's literally causing aggravated storms that shouldn't be. Normally, we'd take a solar wind event with ease. Not even close to what happened. And for those that are like, what's the solar wind? Let's see if I can find the spot where they show us that. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. This part, this black stuff. I don't know, some weird, I've heard a lot of theories about it, but whatever. It's just this weird spot where the sun just spews out like wind. It's an outgassing area, if you will. Very fun theories about it, actually. All said. It creates large wind, and actually there's generally significant tie-ins with geomagnetic type stuff, earthquakes, volcanoes. So whatever section of the sun it tends to be on, so if it's in the upper latitudes or where, that generally it seems to affect the Earth in that area. So you just take a band around the Earth wherever this solar storm is, and ultimately that's where you kind of tend to see earthquakes and weird stuff like that. At least upticks, larger quakes, stuff like that. Funny coincidence, something to pay attention to. This certainly being towards the center latitudes and large like it is, yeah, it was concerning. I don't recall any large earthquakes jumping out, so I don't know. Maybe we did okay this time around. President Trump orders the U.S. flag at half-staff to honor Army Specialist Sarah Beckstrom, the young lady who was shot amongst the other individual who's still alive, thank God, in D.C. National Guardsman. Very, very sad, but he's a flag at half-staff. Trump is also renamed the former Institute of Peace to reflect the greatest deal maker in our nation's history. This will piss lots of people off. Welcome to the Donald J. Trump Institute of Peace. Booyah! Yep, best is yet to come, folks. We got a bumpy road to go through here in the coming bit, all right? That's all I'm going to say. We've got a bumpy-ass road coming up. Just be prepared for it, okay? And, I don't know, this is kind of sometimes going through like today in the Law of One, not hardly of you guys watch it, but it's significant stuff that I'm involved in, and I'm very proud of myself for doing this. And anyway, whatever, it doesn't. Okay, enough of that, Dan. We're actually going to be talking about something today that really gets into the whole concept of when you've got somebody that's evil and they want to do evil, and like you as a healer or a lover want to love them, and right, I can give you love and I can show you the way to the light. But that's not what they want, and that actually goes against what they're trying to do, and that they're not going to fall for it, if you will. It doesn't benefit anybody. It is, to a degree, sort of a waste of time to throw your seed onto the path or throw your seed into the weeds or whatever, right? There's a wonderful the word I'm looking for around that parable, I think. Anyway, all said, this is kind of another example where people can, I think, do that. Like kind of that example of you don't necessarily have to play their game. You can play your game while you're playing their game. Maybe it'll make sense. Again, this isn't a mocking kind of mean sort of way to people that are overly sensitive, soy boy type people that have literal man boobs or moobs. That's all I'm talking about. People like that.
Merry Christmas can go either way, and I hate to offend people. So this whole last holiday season, I didn't let out one Merry Christmas. That's true. Instead, I said, may the birth of the one and only true God Jesus Christ bestow a blessing of grace and peace upon your household to the belittlement of every other false religion. Lest you be gay. That's what I say.
And you got to cover that last part, lest you be gay, right? I mean, then it's okay. All right, sorry. You got an exception. There's an asterisk. There's an asterisk. Play ball, right? Donald Trump tweeted this out. The sleazebag governor of Colorado. You got to make sure he specifies which, right? Because there's a number of sleazebag governors, sir. I'm just saying. But the sleazebag of Colorado, apparently, Jared Polis, he refuses to allow an elderly woman, Tina Peters, who was unfairly convicted of what the Democrats do, cheating on elections, won't let her out of jail. She was convicted for trying to stop Democrats from stealing Colorado's votes in the election. She was preserving election records, which she was obligated to do under federal law. She has now served more than 1 year in jail and has 8 years to go. On top of everything else, she is a cancer survivor. This lightweight governor who has allowed his state to go to hell, Tren de Aragua, anyone? Should be ashamed of himself. Free Tina. Now, powerful stuff. Number of things I want to point out here. I talk about manifesting all the time. You guys know that. Trump will not call out the fact that she's quote unquote having issues. I don't know if any of you guys follow Juan Savin at all, or when he pops up on, Nino and everybody else. He's constantly talking about how this cough is coming, right? He's actually doing more harm to her than anybody. But he's using it to try to help, but he doesn't realize what damage he's doing. It just cracks me up how the dude just doesn't get some stuff. But anyway, talking about things makes it so, puts it into power. Here's some biblical quote, Juan. You know it. Come on, get out of there. Stop doing it, right? Trump did it the right way. She's a cancer survivor, like Gloria Gaynor, right? She will survive. She will survive. The more you play it up like she's not, you're not helping. Now, again, I saw the thing with Cliff High recently talking about how manifesting is going to be the new thing. I kind of laughed to myself because I've got a manifesting channel. It's called Dan RadioStyle on YouTube. It's been there, 10, 13 years, somewhere in that vicinity. I don't remember exactly when I started. It's been there a long-ass time. Almost 1,000 videos of manifesting. He's really excited about Neville Goddard. I've done every Neville Goddard book that I could get my hands on, and I covered all of them there. So again, if you want to learn about Neville Goddard and manifesting, highly recommend you go to Dan RadioStyle, YouTube. It's been there forever. And boom, hit it up. Look for Neville Goddard. Search that, and you'll find a crap ton of videos I've done, and you'll be amazed. I am actually, I think, extraordinarily good with that part of my life. I think it's actually one of my giant gifts. I'm hoping one day speak for themselves. We'll see. All said, it's important to focus on where we're going, not what you don't want to experience or not what you're trying to avoid. That's all I can say. I wish I could get people to understand that easier because it's such a powerful, easy way to change your life. Another easy way to change your life, and this is why I like the companies I choose, is focusing on health. When you focus on health, health is what you manifest more of, interestingly. And then when there's certain fears that you might have regarding your health, well, sometimes it's good to have the backup plan covered, right? Prepare for the worst, hope for the best. And once you've got the fear covered, well, you don't have to worry about it anymore, do you? And that's what The Wellness Company can help you with, the fear. They got a number of great products, actually. The Wellness Company, so twc.health/OTF. twc.health/OTF. You want to check it out. We've got incredible products here. Contagion Kit, just ordered mine recently. It's got your ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine. It's got another antiviral. It's also got antibiotic. The azithromycin is in there. It's got a nebulizer with the, I forget the name of it, but it's the like asthma medication. It expands your airways. So if you're really, really hard up and you get a tough flu, or you're one of those people that like someone sneezes flu on you and you're like, oh my God, instantly start melting, right? Like you want to get a contagion emergency kit. They're incredible. They will save you, period. End of story. It's got everything covered in there. Again, I had the flu hit me. I knocked it out with the antivirals quick. I killed the flu, but it got into my lungs. That's where I could have used the antibiotic. That's kind of why I ordered it, just in case. Again, prepare for the worst, right? I manifest positive health, but I also know there's realities in life, and sometimes we get under the weather. Sometimes we don't take the best care of ourselves, and so things happen. So you got to be prepared for that. Contagion kit's one of the amazing ways that can happen. Medical kit's got a whole lot of amoxicillins or antibiotics and stuff like that. So it's a really, really powerful, and in fact, it's heavy antibiotics. So if you're somebody that worries about bacterial infections, which is what antibiotics help with, then that is a big one. If you're somebody that is worried about viruses and parasites and stuff like that, that's where your antivirals come into play. That's your ivermectins, that's your mebendazoles, that's your hydroxychloroquines. These are antivirals. If you've got an infection that's bacterial, those don't do a damn thing for that. They don't help at all. Zero. So understand that. It's very, very important for people, but they have a whole ivermectin collection. The parasite cleanse is something I'm doing and enjoying. It is powerful. The experiences I've had from it, again, I highly recommend it. You're getting a 25 milligram tablet of ivermectin mixed with 250 milligrams of mebendazole. It's a 90 days. You get 90 pills for the price. It's actually an amazing deal when you think of it from that standpoint. You've got 90 days worth of very heavy parasitic killing abilities. The price is actually phenomenal for it. It was like $1.50 a pill or something like that. It's surprisingly good. You're getting a very good deal on it. They've also got the ivermectin cream, which people are finding great help with like skin cancers and stuff like that. Eczema, there's a lot of different things that this ivermectin seems to be helping. There seems to be some connections between viruses, and parasites, and there's a whole lot of things. And I'm not saying every single thing that's a viral is necessarily a parasite, and not necessarily everything that's a parasite is necessarily viral. But I do think that the overlap happens a lot more than we realize, and I think that's important to keep minds on. They've got stuff for weight control, appetite control, but these are drops. They're supposed to help with your metabolism, supposed to help with your cravings, all this stuff, and that's helping people lose weight. It's kind of like the slightly slower Ozempic, but you're kind of on a quicker path to weight loss, and a lot of people are finding some great success with that product. So that's one you want to check out if you're worried about losing weight. Also, Recharge Methylene Blue. Your mind's a little fuzzy, right? Having a hard time with the crossword puzzles. This one's going to help you out. It's got 3 different ingredients, but it's got the methylene, whatever that methylene blue stuff is. It's got that in there. And it's got 2 other things that have weird initials that I can't remember off the top of my head, but they all help your brain get like, fire on all cylinders. Fantastic stuff. They've got a pain gel. They've got root stuff for the hair. They've got gum support, a toothpaste that helps get your gums to come back. They got a plastic detox. They've got amazing stuff, I'm telling you. They also got, and I just bought one of these. I can't wait till I get it. I can't wait to try it. I bought this, the Cattleman's Lean Meats. I didn't realize it sold meat. This is how cool is that? I'm going to get some steaks sent to my house. They got a filet mignon, top sirloin, London broiled, tri-tip, flat iron steak, and a sirloin flap. I don't know what I'm going to do with them all yet, but I will eat them. Oh, that will happen. Yes. You want to go to twc.health/OTF. twc.health/OTF. I even got some free jerky stick in there. And they're like jalapeno beef jerky sticks. I don't know. Can't wait. They're free. I bought a bunch of crap. They're like, yeah, well, you want some free beef jerky? I'm like, yeah. Like that was even a question? Hello. All said. This is all happening right here. The Wellness Company. Keeping yourself healthy, thinking healthy ways, getting healthy foods, healthy products, and actually healthy memberships too. You can get access to a doctor. It's just great products. twc.health/OTF. twc.health/OTF. Get out of their stupid system. Keep yourself healthy and happy. All right, a couple things here. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang, he reflects on how surprising and different Trump seems to to be. And by the way, I don't know. First thing I tripped on, and this is probably going to be racist sounding, so I'm going to say it anyways, though. I was expecting an accent. He has no accent. I was just like, dang, dude's like, yeah, love it. Anyway, whatever.
President Trump is very different. He surprised me. First of all, he's an incredibly good listener. Almost everything I've ever said to him, he's remembered.
Yeah, people don't. They only want to look at negative stories about him or negative narratives about him.
Part of his charm, part of his genius is just he says what's on his mind.
Yes,
and
which is like an anti-politician in a lot of ways.
Right. So what's on his mind is really what's on his mind.
Which
and he's
I think
telling you
people
what
prefer.
he believes. I do that
some
too.
people. Some people would rather be lied to.
Yeah, but I like the fact that he's telling you what's on his mind. Almost every time he explains something, he says something, he starts with you could tell his love for America, what he wants to do for America, and everything that he thinks through is very practical and very common sense, and it's very logical. President Trump is very different.
Yeah, extremely logical, right? Like, and this is the NVIDIA CEO, by the way, Jensen Huang, the Huanger. Today, my administration is taking historic action to lower costs of American consumers' products. This is pretty cool. This is Trump signing the executive order. We'll play this, and then the next one's even funner because it actually is talks about Pete Buttigieg, and I'm gonna have to interrupt in the middle of it at one point just to scream out the way I like to say it, because it'll be appropriate. And many of you that for some reason like it when I said, you guys would be like, dude, Dan, you should have. And so I will. I won't disappoint. I'm just saying. I'm here for you guys and for me. I actually get entertainment out of this too. Needless to say, it's still good news. Right here.
Today, my administration is taking historic action to lower costs for American consumers, protect American auto jobs, and make buying a car much more affordable for countless American families and also safer. We're officially terminating Joe Biden's ridiculously burdensome, horrible, actually, CAFE standards that imposed expensive restrictions and all sorts of problems, gave all sorts of problems to automakers. And we're not only talking about here, we're talking about outside of our country, because nobody could do it. Nobody wanted to do it, and it was ridiculous, very expensive. It put tremendous upward pressure on car prices. Combined with the insane electric vehicle mandate, Biden's burdensome regulations helped cause the price of cars to soar more than 25%. And in one case, they went up 18% in 1 year. Today, we're taking one more step to kill the Green New scam. It's part of the greatest scam, probably, well, other than Russia, and a few others I could name. The greatest scam in American history, the Green New scam. And it's a quest to end the gasoline-powered car. This is what they wanted to do, even though we have more gasoline than any other country by far. And people want the gasoline car. They want everything. They want electric. They want to have lots of alternatives, but they do want the gasoline car. Right now, it's leading away by a lot. The car business is a very interesting business, but we want to keep it that way.
Yeah, we certainly do. We certainly do. Yes, indeedy. All right, this is weird how this happened. All said, here is this part. I'll have to interrupt, I swear.
Secretary Duffy, could you say a few words?
Thank you, Mr. President. So yesterday at the cabinet meeting, the president was talking about affordability, and the way that Democrats talk about affordability is a lie. Today is a perfect example of that. So these CAFE standards used what was contrary to the law. The Congress set a rule that says you have to look at combustion engines. Biden and Buttigieg actually did an analysis using...
Edge.
Buttigieg used EVs and hybrids to come up with a 62 mile an hour per gallon standard, which I think the car companies will tell you is completely unattainable. So they spent a lot of money on technology trying to meet the unattainable standard, driving up the cost of a car, number one. And then number two, if they couldn't meet the unattainable standard, they had to trade for carbon, costing billions of dollars, and again, driving up the price of the car. So, Mr. President, what Democrats were doing were not making cars more affordable, they're making them less affordable. The consequence of that is going to be that more Americans can afford to buy a new car which means they're going to be safer on the roads because of all the great new technology we have that save lives. So we'll have less death on American roads. These rules are going to allow the automakers to make vehicles that Americans want to purchase, not vehicles that Joe Biden and Buttigieg wants them to build, which is important. But also, this is important for American jobs. The more cars we sell, the more jobs we have in this country. And so this is jobs, this is freedom, and this is common sense, Mr. President. So thank you for your leadership. And I appreciate what the Senate did with the big, beautiful bill and what we've done here today. So thank you, Mr.
very
President.
much.
Dude, you can't even set that up. That was amazing. How friggin' cool and Duffy just nailed it, right? Anyway, it's the little things in life for me, folks. I tell you. Hey, it's like this. Here's a good example. Scott Bessent was pretty pissed off at New York Times, their hypocrisy, which we're seeing lots of, talking about Trump's health and all this stuff. So anyway, he got a couple cool little spots here. We'll check these out. It kind of all dealing with Scott and just trying to have Trump's back, basically. Oops. Let's try to do that properly.
What was one of the greatest scandals of all time, that the coverage of the Biden administration, Joe Biden's diminished capacity, and the cover-up.
And that's why it's probably fair to raise these questions.
Where was the New York Times? We just had a 3-hour cabinet meeting yesterday, Andrew. For 10 months, the Biden administration did not have a cabinet meeting. How are you going to invoke the 25th Amendment if the cabinet secretaries never see the president, which they didn't? That, I hear from people in the Treasury building that I see President Trump more in a day than my predecessor saw Joe Biden in half a year. So
no, that ain't happening, right? It ain't happening. That's right. We got a couple others here. He was also on with Hannity, I think, and he's talking about this particular little moment in time.
We're going to have a conversation, and we got there, and he just immediately went into attack and gotcha mode, and I just couldn't take the hypocrisy of it all. And I guess he had to play to the New York Times audience, the Deal Book audience there at Lincoln Center, and I just had to fact check him, and I believe that the New York Times...
Oh, you did more than fact check them. You checkmated them.
Well, again, it's just, as they used to say on Dragnet, just the facts. And I don't read the
Joe Friday. Yeah.
I don't read the Times anymore, but people send me articles, and the last couple of articles I've gotten are just so far from the truth. And I was sitting there thinking, how are people going to construct the historical narrative of this great second Trump presidency in an accurate way when the supposed paper record is so far off?
Yeah, paper record is not the paper record, which is a big part of what we're all coming to as well, which is one of the more difficult parts of this, frankly, in my opinion, but nah.
Sean, he'll call me, Scott, I didn't wake you, did you? No, sir. I'm always awake at 1:52 on a Tuesday. And I can tell you, we did the trip to Alaska. We did a round trip one day, and we arrived back. The rest of the cabinet, it was Secretary Rubio, Secretary Lutnick, and I, our batteries are out. We land at Andrews, and the president's like, oh, it's morning in Europe now. I think we had spent probably 20 hours in the air in Alaska, and he said, let's start making phone calls and call the European leaders. Yeah. So we had to sat on the tarmac for 2 more hours while he made phone calls. He never stops working for the American people. All right, and it's incredible.
I want to talk.
That's something that I don't think a lot of people can appreciate. Like, I am a very hard worker, like I always have been. And I mean, I'm not trying to be braggadocious in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying generally I outperform everybody I work with. There's always a couple every now and then, but I'm in the top 95th percentile easily. And I'm not trying to be braggadocious. I just look to see who's the best, and I make sure I'm better than them. That's just, it's served me well. Dude, Trump is like all the time. Like I like to get my sleep. I like some sleep. I mean, I can function on 4 or 5 hours every day, and I can do that for many, many, many days, but I still need 4 or 5 hours of sleep, man. I start getting stupid when I hit about 48 hours of no sleep. Oh, I start getting cold. Like, everything about it's horrible. I don't know how he does it. Don't know how he does it. 9 in 10 college students, this is like, I don't know, it's just like a weird story to me. I don't want to spend a huge amount of time, but 9 in 10 college students think words can be violence. Now, first off, think about the fact that they like to throw words out that are mean towards the other side, right? They like to use words as violence, but not using proper pronouns, not saying the right things, whatever the case. They consider that violence. This is what's been happening in the indoctrination camps we call school. 9 in 10 students think that words can be violence. What's super funny and makes it, I mean, what you could say worse, I just think it makes it even more funny. It's why I love pushing people's buttons. Oh, I love it. Love it. I will push them into the next level of, like, sometimes it works into, poor responses towards me. I've been punched more than once, but still entertaining. All said, when respondents were asked how much the statement, words can be violence, describes their thoughts, 47% answered with completely or mostly. 28% said it describes their thoughts somewhat, and 15% said slightly. So, yeah, it's like a lot of people kind of think that this whole idea that words can be violence. But, additionally, around 59% of students said silence is violence. Yeah, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. So, if you don't say the words they want you to say, and you go silent, that's violent too. Oh, God, I love it. God, I love it. Again, their buttons are so easy to push. It's unfortunate they tend to get violent when you do it, but it's still entertaining. Careful. Seriously. It's like lighting a firework with a really short fuse. It's probably not going to go well, but come on. You don't want to waste the opportunity, right? What the hell was that? Anyway, whatever. Losing my mind. MSNBC via Fusion, Ken Delanian. They report Letitz James, I guess, is being re-indicted. Now, this has an anti-Trump spin to it, but it's short, so we can tolerate it for a little. But it's good info.
Again, and we just got some news, and you probably haven't seen this because it just broke. Our own colleague, Ken Delaney in MS Now, that Tish James is going to be re-indicted tomorrow, it appears, in Norfolk, Virginia, with a assistant U.S. attorney, I think, being brought in from Missouri to handle the charges. Her indictment, of course, was thrown out because the judge found that Lindsay Halligan, who had been brought in specifically to indict her in Comey, was not actually constitutionally appointed, and therefore the indictment was thrown out, although without prejudice, so they can re-indict. This appears to be one of the areas that there is quite a bit of focus, which is to get revenge on whoever they want to get revenge on.
Yes, to all that. And then this just brings up one of my favorite stories, and I'm sorry to belabor the point even further, but Norfolk. It brings me a funny story because when I worked in the radio, we had a lot of markets. I don't even remember how many it was now. How funny is that? It's been almost a year. Amazing how quickly that goes. We had a lot. We had a lot of markets, hundreds of markets. And one of them was Norfolk, Virginia. Now, what I used to call it Norfolk, I would mispronounce a lot of the cities. Poughkeepsie was one I think I had a hard time with. There was a few of them that were tough. What was the other one? Worcestershire. That was another one. Anyway, so I had a hard time with some of the names. And the lady that she wasn't my manager, but she was one of the managers. She's like, it's pronounced Norfolk. And I was like, I keyed in on the last part. I'm like, Norfolk? And she's like, Norfolk. And I'm like, Norfolk. And she's like, and then me and this other guy that he just always helped. Him and I just bounced off each other really well. He was like, it's Norfolk. I heard it too, Dan. I heard it. I'm like, yeah, it sounded like Norfolk, right? Like Norfolk, right? Norfolk. So anyway, it was a shit ton of fun because we weren't supposed to. And she rolled her eyes and realized she made a mistake even trying to go down that path. It is what it is. That's part of the charm that Dan brings to the table. Cash Patel put this out, posted it to be precise. When Dan Bongino and I came to the FBI in March, the pipe bomb investigation had been stalled for going on 5 years. We rebuilt it from scratch, and rerunning every lead, retesting every piece of evidence, bringing in top experts, and deploying new technology to engineer the break that finally nailed the suspect. Today is a result of that outstanding work. We didn't need new evidence, just new leaders and a new president, at Real Donald Trump, willing to let good cops be cops. I'm extremely grateful to Dan Bongino, leadership, Pam Bondi, Pirro, all the other people. I'd like to crawl up some other people's asses, but I don't have enough time or words allowed. But they got him. They got this guy. And it's a guy. In fact, I just want to say Blaze TV was wrong. I just want to point that out one more time. So many people, there's 94% chance. Well, that's actually not really good. Like, if you're 94% the dad, I mean, how do you feel about that? I mean, maybe I'm the dad. There's still a chance, right? Like, 99 point something, you're like, probably. 94? FBI arrests Virginia man in January 6th pipe bomb. We got his name somewhere. It's going to pop up a few times, but they, it's not in this story. Needless to say, they got this guy planting devices. We know there's a third thing they planted. We know that they actually knew who this guy was when Merrick Garland was in there. They knew who this was. Man accused of planting pipe bombs, right? We got his name somewhere. Again, it's going to pop up. If it's not here, it's somewhere, and it's fine because it pops up. I got it like 3 different places. Not easily, though, that's for sure. Yeah, he's 5'7". They make a deal about that, which is interesting. He also had some very specific tennis shoes that I'm thinking were rare. I don't know. Whatever the case was, they found him. He seems to be a wealthy individual. Has a rather nice house, I would say, anyways. Was definitely not the individual that we originally thought. Nike Air Max Speed Turf shoes. For all of you guys that are really into the Nike product line, whatever the case is. What's this dude's name? I'm just hoping to find his name. It's bugging me now at this point. I feel like I should see it already. Cole is this dude's name. Where is it? The suspect arrested Thursday morning in connection with planting the pipe bombs outside of the Democratic and Republican national committees. The Post is confirmed. Brian Cole Jr. Right here. Do we have pictures? What's that link to? That's what it links to. Story with his name. So yes, this individual. Here's his home. Not bad, huh? I mean, he's not destitute. It's definitely not the people that we thought originally, where they had the strip of housing and the 2 doors next to each other. You guys remember that one? It definitely wasn't that. So yeah, they searched his house today. Don't know what they found. Don't know if they'll tell us. At first, they weren't even telling us his name. They were kind of a little hush-hush about that, but that has changed. MSNBC, well, they kind of said the quiet part out loud. Again, I generally dislike everything they do, and I still do. Nothing's changed, but they did say one thing interesting.
One of the sticky issues for the FBI, and we'll be really keen to hear the explanation for this, but one of the sticky issues is that why didn't analysts and investigators at the FBI sort of connect these dots earlier when this person's information was already in evidence the FBI had in hand, and mostly evidence it had collected in 2021 and 2022?
Yeah, sticky issue. I mean, don't use a black light. That's all I'm saying. I just should actually mean it that way. Next story. Donald Trump talking. President Trump says Jack Smith should be questioned by the Oversight Committee. I think so, too. What do you guys think?
Yeah, please.
The House Judiciary Committee has subpoenaed Jack Smith to ask about his investigation of you. I wondered, for a deposition, I wondered if you'd prefer to see that as a hearing so that the American public can see the questions and the responses more easily.
I'd rather see it probably at a hearing. Look, Jack Smith is a thug. He's a failed prosecutor. He's a bad man. He's an evil man. He hurt a lot of people. Forget about me. You know, I do this stuff, but I got indicted many times by a guy that they were dismissed. He's a bad guy. He's a sick man. There's something wrong with him, actually. I think Jack Smith is a sick man. There's something really wrong with him. I'd rather see him testify publicly because there's no way he can answer the questions. But Biden knew this was going along. Kamala knew it was going along. And there's a lot of things happening right now that they don't like. One of the things is the auto pen. Everything he signed, almost, with the exception of the pardon of his wonderful son, Hunter, just about everything he signed was not signed by him. He had no knowledge of it. He didn't know what it was. People sitting around the beautiful Resolute desk knew exactly what it was. And those people are guilty, in my opinion, of a major crime. Everything that was signed by that auto pen, the man operating the auto pen, and I'm sure there are more than one because I think some of the people can operate it themselves. Some of the high-level people operate it themselves. They would just go in and sign his name with an auto pen onto very important documents, not only pardons, but policy, maybe CAFE standards, okay, as an example. Who signed CAFE? If you ask Biden what's a CAFE standard, he would have absolutely no idea. He'd say, where is the CAFE located? The guy didn't know anything. Look, that just shows you what a rigged election can be, but you understand what I'm saying. Thank you.
This has all been a show. Now, understand, folks, we have an attention span of, I don't know, a toddler, I think isn't even fair. A mouse, maybe? We don't have an attention span at all. And so anything that's going to happen as far as the elections has to happen close to the elections. So I'm just going to say, prepare yourself, guys. Prepare yourself. You're going to hear every single week, week after week after week after week, Nassar Jassara, med beds. You're going to hear the rests are coming, Gitmo. Trust me, every single week, you're going to see the same people doing it over and over. And the reason is because they're trying to keep the emotion going because they don't know what else to do. Like I said, I'm going long haul. I'm not going to grab the biggest chunk of people, but I'm going to grab the best chunk of people. That's what we're doing here. AG Pam Bondi says the investigation is ongoing regarding the warrants. This is Brian Cole Jr., all right, the pipe bomber. This is interesting. Anyways, I haven't heard this yet. Check it out.
Brian Cole Jr. was arrested and charged with placing the pipe bombs at the RNC and the DNC on January 5th, 2021. He has been charged with violating 18 U.S.C. 844, which is use of an explosive device. This investigation is ongoing. As we speak, search warrants are being executed, and there could be more charges to come.
People getting arrested. It's happening, and it's going to be dragged out to a degree, right? New Pentagon IG audit has found that the Biden administration allocated a whopping $14.2 billion to resettle more than 75,000 largely unvetted Afghan refugees. $14.2 billion. Works over to, I don't know, over $500,000 each. I did a little quick math in my head earlier. Over $500,000 each. Each individual. Over $500,000 each. Each person to be moved and resettled. 500 plus grand. You can do the math, but close enough. Per just released DOD IG report, Biden forfeited 96,000 ground vehicles, 51,180 general purpose light tactical vehicles, 23,825 Humvees, nearly 900 armored combat vehicles, and 427,300 weapons, 17,400 helmet-worn night vision devices, and at least 162 aircraft to the Taliban when they just decided to bail out the way they did. It's ridiculous. A new Pentagon IG report has pilloried Biden for asserting that the Afghan withdrawal, that Afghan security forces have 300,000 well-equipped troops. That was our good friend Lloyd Austin. That 300,000 troops that were going to prevent Taliban from taking cover, when in fact they had maybe 40 to 50,000, and the rest were all ghosts. Long story short, they lost everything. FBI foils massive cyber revenge plot against the U.S. government. Two former IT contractors who, I don't know which country they were from. I don't know if they tell us. I don't know if it matters. But Munib Akhtar and Sahib Akhtar, both 34, because, they're twins. They're in Alexandria, Virginia, which is CIA, I think. Am I wrong on that one, guys? There's a lot of stuff there. They were arrested today on federal charges for allegedly attempting to destroy or steal data from 96 separate U.S. government databases after being fired in February. After Trump got in? That's strange. What to know about the 764 online thing? This is, I don't know, there's a lot of kids. Kids are getting pulled into this. There's this weird ring that's going on. Kids are, I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time trying to explain any of it. Frankly, it's just this weird movement of kids being taken advantage of, in a lot of cases sexually, literally talking kids into killing themselves. And it's young, kids as young as 9 years old and up to 15, 16. Literally trying to get them to do horrible things online, trying to get them to further horrible things online, killing animals, killing themselves, torturing, cutting themselves, just it's really messed up, all right? So it's being pushed through the 764 thing. It's being pushed through Roblox and Discord are two really common places. A lot of people are like, how can we stop this, Dan? You can't stop it. Okay? It's like if you step out in front of a bus, it'll fucking kill you, right? How do I stop the bus? You don't. It's the wrong way to look at the problem. Don't step out into the street when the bus is coming. Teach your kids how to properly deal with these things. Teach your kids not to share photos. Teach your kids not to share photos, especially naked photos, because technically that's pornography, by the way. And that shows up on your record for life. Even if you're a child, you send that to possibly an adult, God forbid. That's child porn for that adult. That's all sorts of fun. The idea, sending images, and by the way, if you're a parent and you've taken naked photos of your child with your phone, that's technically child porn. I don't care how cute you think it is, but it's naked children on your phone. It's child porn, legally. Understand that. Many people don't realize the world that we live in. Be careful. Talk to your kids, talk to your grandkids, both. Make sure they understand. Make sure they know to be careful. Because you can't stop this. It is happening. Now, they're busting people. It's sweet. But you can't stop it. Oops. There's this leaked call from Europe, and I believe this. I believe it was leaked intentionally from the French president, Emmanuel Macron. Douche. It's weird. The idea of fellatio on my wife, whatever. Strange thoughts. They're trying to stop this war, or trying to stop this peace from happening. It's important to know that. It's important to appreciate it. We're going to watch it play out. I don't think peace is happening right now. It sounds like Russia's not saying that at the moment. I've probably got more to say on that, but I won't spend much then. But we've got a movement that's happening right now that wants to keep wars going, and it needs to be played out in front of us. So those of us that are awake already, this is frustrating that we have to live through this. It's like, oh my God, there's a waterfall right over there. And everyone else is like, what do you mean? That's awesome. You like that noise? You hear that noise? And we're just like, eyes are giant, right? And we just gotta, they'll figure it out. They will. If not, we're going over together. Like, we're in this together. Grab your flashlight. and your towel. That's sort of a reference to Hitchhiker's Guide. But it's disappointing sometimes for me. Like, I'm like, is humanity going to make it? I'm like, well, not all of them. No, unfortunately. And a lot of this information comes to try to thwart or push the stupid people into the wrong direction. I mean, so, yeah, they're good at it. China's real estate collapses, or is collapsing, and sending their local debt to around $18.9 trillion. Every single country on this planet is in a tough place right now. Only about 5 of them are doing the right things to make things better for themselves. We are on the top of that. I would throw Hungary in there. I would throw Italy in there. I would throw Japan in there. I would throw, what's the one in South America? That Bule or whatever his name is. He's in there. I feel like there's one other one I'm forgetting. We got Orban, and we got dude in Turkey. Turkey, maybe. I don't know. Turkey, maybe. Erdogan, I'm not sure. I would say, yeah, no, Orban for sure, but I don't know about Turkey. Not sure. So we are, we're going into a heavy time. I mean, I'm not, the reason I push gold and silver is because it's the easiest way to protect yourself. What we're going into and the way things play out and how stuff works is, yeah. You want to get precious metals. You want to get as much of them as you can. Any wealth that you can move to precious metals is a great idea. Like, any way you do that, however you do that, whether you use Goldco or not, I don't care. But definitely, you want to get into some precious metals. When the shiz hits the fan, well, we'll talk about it. Something behind the scenes is breaking. Someone says we're heading for a derivative meltdown. Now, one of the things they talked about in here that I found to be interesting is this dude, and this dude is Mr. Gold. He's kind of like Mr. Precious Metals. He says in a 48-hour period of time, silver was up over $5 per ounce. By the way, it was down a bunch today, but it's also very jinky right now. But it's up overall. It goes in these spikes, like it breaks loose, like the magnetic pole shift we're going to have. But it breaks loose, and then it pops way up, and then they manage to pull it back down or grab hold of it or whatever. And so it starts to bounce, and it'll find a new place, and then it'll break loose again. So in a 48-hour period of time, silver was up over $5 per ounce. It was Friday last week into Monday. Monday was a big day too. It's pretty clear and pretty obvious that something behind the scenes is breaking. We know that the lease rates have exploded. We know that the borrow rates on SLV have exploded. We also know that in the last 5 to 7 years, silver has been in a deficit. At this point, you are looking at a 400 million ounce deficit on an annual basis, and global production is 850 million ounces. The rumor is somebody has put in a $20 billion order, which would mean 400 million ounces. If that is the case, the order cannot be met, and that will create shark-infested waters. If somebody stands for delivery, and it looks like it may be difficult for them to get delivery, meaning they can't get the physicals that they've been promised, then everybody is going to stand for delivery because they know that their contracts are worthless. Like, the whole market starts to break down. If these paper contracts for delivery can't be withheld or can't be made whole, and that's what this movement is, $20 billion in paper contracts. And what they do typically, in a lot of these paper contracts, is they'll take one of these coins that's in a trust. They got one of these things, right? And they'll sell it 20 times, 30 times to multiple people simultaneously. And so because of that, you will find we will see all sorts of crazy problems. So yes, we are going to see an explosion in the price of silver. They're trying to keep it down. So it was down a bit today. It was kind of interesting. 1.265 down right now. So it's still at $57. It's still way up in the big picture. But yeah, it's bouncing around. Gold's oddly up a little bit or flat, frankly, but it didn't go down. So gold's a better indicator of the inflation, true inflation. Silver is being repressed. And as it slowly breaks through these different gates well, you're going to be somebody that's going to benefit from it. You want to get out of it. If you got a 401k or an IRA, I would transition those things specifically into precious metals IRA. It's literally physical metals. You're doing it tax-free, penalty-free, and you're doing it with one of the greatest companies out there, and you're going to move as much of it as you can over to precious metals. It's physical metals. It's in a trust. You can get it later. You can. And how later is up to you. That's considered a payout, just so you know. That's a payout. You're going to get taxed, and you're going to get, if it's early, penalized. So it's easy to say, oh, you said it to me and I won't pay my taxes. You do what you do, but that's not a good idea. But it's physical gold. It's in a trust. It's got your name on it. It's literally yours to have. It's just stored away from you because otherwise that's a payout. They don't trust you. They're not like, no, we're going to give it to you, but you swear you're not going to spend it. And then you're like, yeah, totally. I'm not going to spend it. I signed right here. Nah, it doesn't work that way. This is money it's pre-tax. It's why it goes in. It's what 401ks are all about or IRAs are all about. It's pre-tax money. So you move it without affecting your taxes. That's a big deal. You don't want that. You don't want that hit. You don't need that hit. But you can get as much of the precious metals as you can right now, and it's protecting your buying power, by the way, especially with gold. Silver is going to multiply. So I would literally I'd personally, I'm heavy silver right now. Heavier silver, and it takes up a lot of room, but silver's got a big multiplier. And I picked up a decent amount of silver, not like ridiculous, but I picked up, like 50 coins, right? And I got like 50 coins, and I think it was back when they were 25, 28, I don't know. I might have paid 30, 32 per coin, and that's just like through the roof right now. And these are like Canadian Mint or whatever. They're literally from the that was with the markup, and I got a pretty good deal on them. So, yeah, some of this stuff is going to multiply, and I've made crip tons. So, precious metals are going to save us, and it's what the new currency is going to be backed by. So, you've already got the precious metals. They're going to say, like, oh, this whatever Federal Reserve note is backed. There's one gold, it's backed by, one gold equals 30 of these or 50 of these, or I don't know how they're going to price them out. They're going to do a revaluation at some point. You're already going to be sitting on the gold or silver. So whatever it becomes, you've already got the thing. You don't need to try to convert 7,000 Federal Reserve notes for every one treasury note. Like, you don't have to. You've already got the thing that's going to directly convert, that it's going to be backed by. Get out of their system. DRSlikesgold.com. 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 Get out of that system. Get out of them while you can. Yeah, it's going to be tough otherwise. Police, gunmen at large after deadly shooting in the D.C. area casino. I don't know. They're trying to capture this guy's out in Maryland. Again, it's odd that we're having a lot more problems out there without the National Guard. New chilling theory reveals a blackmail threat maybe was posed by Afghan refugees. So apparently, and I don't know if this is a way to try to make this guy like not guilty, but whatever, dude. You shot 2 people in the head, so I don't give a shit I don't care. They blackmailed you or not. If you kept your family alive, that's great. That's what you did. And you're going to go to jail for that. That's awesome. So you get to go to jail or prison for keeping your family alive. Feel good knowing that. I mean, you did your duty. You did your thing. But you're going to go to jail for the rest of your life, dude. That's how that works. But we're supposed to feel bad because this is probably happening in a lot of cases. We've got people that are here, but their families are there. And that's a problem if you think about it, right? You can force people to do things, the Taliban, for example, and that seems to be exactly what they're doing. So not good. The color revolution that's going on, we got a judge that's restricting immigration arrests in D.C. This is obviously not legal, whatever. I don't know how they play this out. But the appellate court should immediately step in and say, all right, you're stayed. Get out of here. That's ridiculous. But they ordered the Trump administration to stop making warrantless immigration arrests in the District of Columbia without probable cause. They're trying to create this whole bureaucratic bullshit red tape stuff so it takes forever to actually get people out. You're guilty if you've committed a crime. I mean, on top of the fact that you're here illegally. Okay, we'll put that aside for the second, but you're here illegally and you've committed a crime, you're out. Any of this nonsense is warrantless? No. You've been convicted of 5 crimes and put back on the street. Don't need anything else. You've been convicted. You're gone. Every single individual that is here illegally, that has been convicted of crimes, should be out. 100% of them. I don't care if they've got families. I don't care if they have friends. I don't care if they have children. Take the children with you. Take the family with you. Don't know. You are not legal. You have committed crimes. You go. So again, this is an interesting time that we're working through, trying to get ourselves to this new regular, or just getting all this crap out of here. Election integrity push. DOJ is on track to compel voters roll cleanup in over half of the U.S. states. They've got these lawsuits going on, and apparently they're making progress. We'll see. This is, let's see, the quote, sloppiness of the elections in blue states is no accident. It's on purpose. It's a feature, not a bug, said Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights Harmeet J. Dillon. She said, and the goal is to cram as many people on there and to make voters who are not particularly engaged make it easy for someone else to help them fill out their ballot and return it for them when they hadn't care enough to do it themselves. So there's a number of states that Dillon says, I guess she's got some sort of lawsuit that's filed. Again, this is one of the most important things we've got going on, and the timing of it's incredibly important. Because once it's finally said and done, and then finally things happen, and they can't undo it or can't come up with, like they can't bring in more people, they're going to have a hard time getting around this. A lot of things are going to close in around the Democrats at one time. And a lot of things are going to come to the public's attention during this time. So all the people that are worried about the election coming up, don't. We've got a lot that's going to happen over the next 6 to 9 months. And again, we have the attention span of a gerbil. No, a flea. We cannot, so it's really going to come down to October of next year, guys. The juiciest of juicy. The biggest shenanigans of shenanigan. Because there won't be any mail-in votes anymore. So day of will matter. Again, a lot's going to happen. A lot's going to happen. New California House maps got ICE's red district to blue. Yeah, ICE is definitely not a real Republican. He's a rhino for sure. So whatever. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Daryl ICE is he's a pile of trash. Pile of trash, Daryl. And unfortunately, the lovely lady who's Asian in my particular area, and I'm forgetting her name. It's funny. It's Kim Young Kim. I always get it backwards because I feel like her first name should be her last name. Anyway, Young Kim, I think is her name. And she's nuts. I mean, I've met her in person. She's, reasonably beautiful, but still doesn't give her a pass on everything. And, oh, by the way, it's coming up over here. My girl's back. She was sick, I bet. I could tell. I could hear it. I thought they got rid of her. I got scared. I thought they got rid of my girl Alice, but she's back. We're gonna find Alice again. You see. I'll have to see the wizard at some point. All said, this has nothing to do with that. But Gavin Newsom, he's a big pile of trash, and I like how this guy continues to insult him within the entire video. And I think it's important to make sure we slam Gavin Newsom as much as possible because there's potentiality he's going to run for president. So we're already getting our legwork in early. So he pulls low enough to where they're going to be like, we got nobody. That's when they try to run Kamala again. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. I can't wait.
The only way anything gets done around the Palisades is when the feds do it. That's what happens when you have an impotent governor in charge of your state. The feds paid for 100% of the firefight through FMAX. The feds did 100% of the cleanup through the Army Corps of Engineers. And yet all Gavin Newsom does is whine about the feds not doing anything. They've done everything. What has he done? He won't even show his face in the Palisades. Well, now Gavin the impotent is heading to Washington, D.C., hat in hand to beg the feds to bail him out yet again. He likes to scapegoat the president because more FEMA funds aren't flowing. But here's the thing impotent Gavin won't tell you. FEMA can't just unilaterally act for a state. The governor must formally request that funding from FEMA and actively work with the feds to facilitate it. It's not a blank check. Gavin has to commit to paying 25% of the costs. The state and local governments also have to spearhead the work. So until impotent Gavin does his part, FEMA can't just impose their will. Whenever you see other states getting all the FEMA assistance after a major disaster, it's because competent governors have actually followed through with this routine level of cooperation. But impotent Gavin isn't concerned with actually governing the state. You see, he's running for president. So he's hijacking our plight to whine about the issue in the press to troll the orange man because that's what he thinks his base wants. Let's not forget the reason Gavin needs all this federal assistance is because he's bankrupted our state. And with everything coming out with our lawsuit, he knows the state is going to have to pay restitution for causing our entire town to burn down. So he needs money. So the real question is, when Gavin goes to DC and begs for the government cheese, will he keep trolling? Is this blue-haired intern going to be with him to mock the president? Or will impotent Gavin finally man up and do what the taxpaying victims need from the governor?
Impotent Gavin. I like it. I actually think it's a sticky. It's got a ring to it, doesn't it? Impotent Gavin. Impotent Gavin. Not sure if it's true, but I like the sound of it. It's got a ring to it. Impotent Gavin. Accused Chinese agent Linda Sun. She boasted how Governor Hochul, she's much more obedient to China than Andrew Cuomo. I feel like this was put out by Andrew Cuomo. I don't know if I believe it. And then we got Ilhan Omar down here too. But here is lovely Sun. She looks angry in this picture. By the way, angry Chinese people scare me a little bit. They don't look attractive anymore. They look a little frightening, actually. I don't know if she's Uyghur or what. She's got to run for. She's got organs that people want, maybe. Mike Lindell's going to be running for apparently governor, which now he probably can't talk to me at all anymore. Yeah. I love it. That was one of the things he said to me because I kept kind of pestering him about it. I'm glad he's running though. So Mike Lindell, good on you, sir. Minnesota needs a frick ton of help. And if you can do that, God bless you. And seriously, you should use those socks. If you're not using your My Pillow socks, you are failing, my friend. I'm pretty sure he uses them though. They're good. Schumer's going to force the Senate vote to vote on this 3-year extension for the health insurance subsidies. If that's what they're coming to the table with, I don't think there's a chance in hell that's getting passed. At all. 3 years is ridiculous. That's obviously to the end of the term for Trump's administration. It would make Trump powerless to be able to do anything about this. And I think this is supposed to be a big deal. And they're meaning to take this money away from the states, which the states are panicking right now. So Schumer being inept and needing to be embarrassed more publicly will fail, likely because it's so ridiculously long. Whatever the case is, it's not going to work, and we're going to enjoy this. Senator Ron Johnson says it looks like Tower 7 might have fallen by controlled demolition. I feel this has to be worth the 4 minutes. I didn't listen to this yet, but I'm just so happy that someone's talking about it, of his significance. And I want to like him. Grassley, I want to like, but Grassley, you're the blue slip guy, and Johnson, I don't know, you're a senator. Fuck, man, you guys don't do anything. Ted Cruz, you're a talker. Rand Paul, what the fuck? Ron Johnson, I love you. I want to love you. He's like the Jim Jordan of the Senate, isn't he, kind of? Don't you guys think? I don't know, I feel like it's me. I feel like he's like maybe the Jim Jordan of the Senate. Who knows? It's painful. Thune, buddy, boy, I'm assuming the timing's perfect, and I'm assuming these guys are on board. I'm praying on board, and we're just like shaking the tree loose so we can get our Marjorie Taylor Greens and our Masseys and our Rand Pauls to fall out, hit the ground, and get bruises so we can get them to fudge out of Dodge. Oh, let's go back to that because this, you guys want to see this. I want to see it. Check it out.
Well, while we're on that topic, the World Trade Center, the Tower 7, you've talked about it, and I know you're trying to investigate it. There's so many odd things about that building, the fact that it fell down at all. What have you learned from that, and what can you tell us about the mystery?
So this, I want to say this right away because you were giving me all this credit for providing information that you could use. We rely on investigatory reporters like yourself and John Solomon. I mean, first of all, you get whistleblowers that have confidence that their identity is not going to be blown, right?
Yeah.
We're very good in my office, but not every office in Congress is.
No.
And so people are highly reluctant to come forward to a congressional office and provide information because they think their anonymity will be broken. So again, you've done fabulous work when it comes to these things. When it comes to 9/11, I got involved in that because Richard Blumenthal, as chairman of PSI in the last Congress, you wanted to do investigation of the deal that PGA Tour was doing with Live Golf and Saudi Arabian PIF.
Yeah.
Which I think that's private parties. That's we shouldn't even be putting our nose under that tent.
He's just
right?
looking for dirt on Trump.
But because of that, all the 9/11 families came to me saying, "Hey, listen, look at this heavily redacted report from the FBI in terms of what we knew about Saudi involvement. Can you get this unredacted?" So that began my involvement. Again, I'm from Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Right.
Obviously, saw 9/11, knew it changed the world, but again, I didn't know anybody in the towers. It wasn't down the street from me and something. So I bought the narrative, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you have people trying to feed you information, and right now I'm in a position where we're gathering information. And to your audience, if you got information, we'll look at it. Okay, we're going to take it all with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, my staff's primary goal is get the information, debunk it.
Right.
Literally. I mean, it's like poke holes in it.
Yeah.
Because
That's what we do.
Because I don't want to be talking about anything that
Waste time.
okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are so many legitimate questions here that I don't mind asking.
Like what?
And it starts with Building 7.
Yeah.
I had never heard of it. First of all, we're describing why is it so difficult to talk about these things? I mean, why are these legitimate questions just quashed?
Why?
And it's because there's something there. Okay, there's something that has not been explained. But we're also getting creamed in the comment sections. Like, how could you guys not know about this?
Right.
Again, I wasn't a 9/11
truther. Yeah.
But it's because it's been suppressed.
Yes.
And that in and of itself
is suspicious.
It is. I mean, like most of America had never heard of World Trade Center 7.
No.
We know the Twin Towers, but you mean another 40-foot tall building collapsed and a BBC reporter's on the air talking about how it collapsed, but it's still standing over her left shoulder. And you look at the video of it and you got, have kind of one view. It sure looks like a controlled demolition. You've got somebody expert in controlled demolition saying, interviewed years later going, well, it's controlled demolition, right? No, that building collapsed on September 11th. So again, there are so many unanswered
and people
questions.
heard explosions, didn't they?
Oh yeah. I mean, that was Graham McQueen. Before he died, he was doggedly looking for every bit of evidence, and he found something like 150 some documented recordings of first responders, reporters that morning of 9/11 saying they heard explosions. And yet the 9/11 Commission, they never talk about it.
Right.
And this never talks about it. You had, I think Barry Jennings was the gentleman's name, went up, he was in Building 7, had already cleared out, told him to get out of the building, couldn't get out of there because the stairwell between the 6th and 8th floor had blown out.
There's the pullet. I mean, there's, again, with the 9/11. 9/11 was, for me, a very unique experience. Being aware that it was like orchestrated. And again, I wasn't anything special. I don't ever want anyone to think that. I just didn't trust the government already heavily. And then saw something that was weird and immediately, just like now, conspiracy theorists, we like to spin our wheels in interesting directions. So a lot of things became apparent. I'd watched myself numerous destructions or implosions of buildings specifically. That was just something I was fascinated with. I love that kind of stuff. So I'd watched many a video of buildings being imploded. It's cool as hell. Love that. I'd watch that for an hour. Put that on TV. Sit there and watch that. Did I get sound? Sweet. If not, we'll just talk over it. But still, people that weren't ready for that. And again, back then, just to give you guys an example, because I'm trying to set the tone. Back then, it was binary thinking, right? So it was either A, terrorists crashed into the building, Dudes that learned to fly Cessnas, took over the plane, and were able to do this 600 knots. Or what? Like some other radical, like, you know, then it would go to all down these other crazy paths. And most of us still aren't fully prepped or prepared to properly say what we think happened. There's still a lot of question as to, you know, hologram versus, right? There's still a lot of question around the planes themselves. Whether that was blue beam. I actually think that was our blue beam. That was one of the first tests of it anyways, I think. But if not, they weren't painted like regular passenger planes. One of them might have had a bomb underneath it. I know, I've seen everything, man. Trust me. 9/11 was something I was like very involved with even at the time. I was on the air at that time. Might have played a part in why the things changed, but still. The people that were on that side of the fence were adamant. Angry if you questioned it. Might have been a lot of you guys. Angry. Anybody that questioned that, you were angry at them. And looking back, why? Right? It's just people voicing an opinion. But it's funny how opinions will do that. Or questions that actually hit the core of the problem. I've always found when you hit the core of the problem, people get very angry. I do. Admitting being wrong, admitting I failed, like it just, and I've done it many a times in my life. Proud to admit I've done it many times, but at the same time, have you failed a bunch? Yeah, I've failed a number of times. I've learned a lot. But you've got to be able to own that, question that myself. Am I always right? I know I made up my mind on something, but I'll be honest. The only other segment of the population that I get this is when I ask questions, asking questions, wanting to talk about things that are outside of the norm. I'm not expecting you to believe them, not trying to change your mind, not trying to force you, but I'm bringing something up as a question that fucking pisses people off. And that's religion. And it's weird to me. It's 9/11 to me. And I don't understand that. It bugs me. I'm going to have to figure that out. Whatever that is, that's going to have to stop. Something's going to have to stop. All said, I hope we get through this transition because there's a lot of us that believe stuff that we've been lied about. And I'm not saying your religion's wrong. I'm saying it's been hijacked. I'm saying it's been, you know, the building fell and they made up a story, right? Like the stuff happened. Just we focus on the wrong parts of it. We don't know about important parts of it. There's so much that's been kept from us. Jesus was a super awesome dude. Very much believe in him. In fact, I kind of think I got past live action during that time with him, maybe. I might have been one of the people close to him. I don't know. I've just always felt that way. I love the dude. But what most people talk about is not who the man was. At least that I remember and know and have studied and learned. And that's the thing that pisses people off. And I'm not saying you're wrong, but I am wondering, are we being told the truth? 9/11 is the same thing, guys. It might feel like a long time spent on that, and I hope I didn't lose a bunch of subscribers in the process. It's weird. Thunderbirds crashed. San Bernardino County firefighters just looked at the new camera. It's one of the F-16s. They made a big deal about that, but it was one of the Thunderbirds. Unfortunately, it crashed. I don't know what happened. We don't know a whole lot yet. The pilot did eject and was injured, but he survived for sure. Hegseth advisor says Signalgate report debunks allegations the war secretary shared classified intel. ABC was reporting right up until the day before this was released that the alleged sources were saying that this was going to bust Hegseth. It didn't. It totally justified or vindicated. Which is weird, that Vin Min guy, right? Vindicated, Vin Min. Always trips me out, that guy's name. It's not the same thing, not even close, but bugs me how close it is, you know? It just bugs me. In a Scrabble way, it's like, it's got a V. It's like, right? Anything. Lawmakers hear from Navy Admiral who ordered deadly boat strike. Here's my girl. And you can hear Alice, Ms. Tang, I hope. She's you can tell she's sick. I'm so sick. Something's wrong with me, people. I don't know what to tell you, but I dig this chick.
Lawmakers on Capitol Hill will receive a classified briefing today from Admiral Frank Bradley. That's the Navy commander who reportedly ordered a follow-up strike that killed survivors of an attack on alleged drug boat smuggling drugs near Venezuela. Some legal experts warn the strike could constitute a crime if survivors were deliberately targeted. Bradley now leads U.S. Special Operations Commands. He will brief top House and Senate lawmakers as pressure builds up on Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. Democrats are demanding release of the full video, written orders, and the intelligence behind the operation. Republicans say the review will be thorough. More than 80 people have been killed in the broader campaign against drug cartels since September.
I feel like I could hear it in her voice at first, but, whatever. It's just probably because I'm, stalker, That's all. I'm just saying. Tillis questions where Hegseth went. Tom Tillis. He's giving him the benefit of the doubt, but he's kind of funny. He's like, so after the explosion of the drug boat, you as the Secretary of Defense, you just decided what you were going to go and have lunch, or were you doing a meeting with the president? Like, he's like, what were you doing? That was more important than after battle damage assessment, right? Like, and it's like, bro, we just blew up a drug boat. Like, we got other theaters of war, and we got like other things that we're planning for. Like, we smoked a drug boat. Yeah, I saw it. I was like, cool, made the call, good G, woo, and then fist bumped, chest bumped, and then I got shit to do, man, right? But they're like kind of being weird about it. So Senator Tom Tillis, he's a Republican from North Carolina. He's one of the people we're probably going to need to get rid of. Probably. Again, pay attention, people. Pay attention. Some of it's them showboating. So we'll see. We'll see. He's giving benefit of the doubt. He's showboating, so he might very well be kind of, playing this to the press the way they want, but at the same time getting people to pay attention to the story. So again, nothing's easy. No, nothing's easy at all in this 4G, 5G war. So again, just be careful. You're going to get dragged down a lot of avenues. I think our people are who we want. ABC reported the information that Democrats, this double tack hoax. Oh, okay, I haven't played this. I don't know what this is. I haven't watched this. Check it out.
Tonight, new information. According to a source familiar with the incident, the two survivors climbed back onto the boat after the initial strike. They were believed to be potentially in communication with others and salvaging some of the drugs. Because of that, it was determined they were still in the fight and valid targets. A JAG officer was also giving legal advice.
This backs up the entire second strike.
Yes, I mean, it just doesn't get more crystal clear than that. The mission is take out the boat, stop the drugs, keep this vessel and its cargo from reaching our shore using lethal means. And our amazing military, the heroes of the United States Armed Forces, did exactly that. President Trump, Secretary Hegseth, and this entire government are committed to finally using our military to defend our people, our borders, our family, our culture, our history, our heritage, to defend the United States. We're not going off running around the Middle East trying to build democracies in caves and deserts and in distant sands that have never known democracy. We're using the military to protect American security, American prosperity, American lives right here where we live, where our children live.
Oh my God. Yes. I say, Steve Miller. Good job, sir. And yeah, we again, this is one of these things where it's like, I mean, yeah, we smoked them. I mean, they crawled back on top. Like, we weren't trying to kill them. I mean, whatever. We are at war. We are taking out criminals. Like, again, I brought it up before. Like, when they smoke a dude inside a car driving down the road, and they just like, they have one of those missiles with the like razor blades that pops out of it, and they go right through the drivers, like take them out and smoke them. Like, do we care? I mean, again, I don't like killing at all. So just, I'm going to say, can we stop? But from the standpoint of, there are some fucked up evil people on this planet, and if a bomb fell on them on accident, I'm not going to feel bad for them. I'm going to be like, well, that's karma is what that was. That's how I'll feel. You know, that's my answer. As long as I didn't have to decide to kill him. I don't know if I could do that. Right? Putting down my dog. Like, I still have guilt from that. Like, I don't know if I could kill a human being. Like, killing an animal's worse almost in my mind, but anyway. I don't know how you guys take it. I love this picture. This is the main reason the story made it. NATO members rejecting the new Ukraine weapons plan. I think Orban's going to be on that with Hungary too, for sure. And I think Turkey's a NATO member too, and they're not going to be on board with this nonsense. But this picture of the chick from Italy. Oh my God, it's this girl. She rolls her eye. There's something about this chick. I mean, she's not Asian, but damn it, I'm pretending she is for the moment. I love this. Something about her. I love it. And again, my first love was actually Italian girl, and I'll always have love. Always have for love for that lady. Broke my heart. That was my fault too. I fucked it up. I broke my own heart. It was awesome. You guys should try it sometime. It's fantastic. Fuck your whole life up. Yeah, seriously. NATO members reject new Ukraine weapons plan. Yeah. They're like, no, we're not doing this. We're not spending money on this shit. Fuck you. And the horse you rode in on. And so this is ending. The war is ending. The funding is ending. The public thought process for it is ending. We're just waiting for everybody else to accept it, right? Like, whatever that is, the normies, however many percent of that is. We need that giant number of us to get the big picture. All said. China's debuting its first locally built GE, General Electric's, company, designed gas turbine. These are gas turbines that they use to generate electricity, hoping old generation technology, because China's building them, and China's notorious for stealing and remanufacturing, right? Like trying to, like Amazon's kind of famous for. Somebody puts their stuff up on Amazon and they'll fuck you, man. It's a tough place, man. You should go to Mike Lindell. I think he's probably better, I hope. Maybe he's copying them. I don't know. Probably getting a lot of emails. We'll find out. All said. These gas turbines are kind of cool. They can generate a lot of power kind of easily. And it made me think of some of the power problems we have here. And they were talking about these diesel generators. Like, I think we're going to utilize some intermittent stuff or intermediate stuff. Not necessarily other companies having to use their own backup generators, though maybe in a crunch. But likely companies that are going to build data centers, maybe starting it up with some GE, like maybe GE's got, like, this is going to help a lot of different industries. It's kind of what's popping into my head, right? We've got generators that Generac, and I mean bigger, and then there's what's the one that my buddy works for them, and it's probably good that I don't remember their name because my friend works for them. But yeah, there's like another backup that's the most famous one. I'll say it's bugging me that I can't actually remember his name. Anyway, it is fantastic. Well, him I can remember, but the company. Anywho, GE makes these. Other people make these things. This is going to help a lot of industries. It's going to be power created from natural gas, which will be cheap. And this is part of the transition. This is part of the rendering. Like, we're going through the tough, mucky, nasty phase right now, the fight, if you will, like the ninja fight, because we're right in the middle of it all. We're right, like, they literally are interface right now, threatening to still take it away, our freedoms. We've got an election that we've got to guarantee. Like, if we don't win this next, again, guys, this is such a great game. It's such a great game, or movie, depends how you look at it. Same thing, basically. The cheaters, folks. We're We're making the difference. The future hasn't happened. Don't let anyone tell you what's going to happen. What's going to happen is not decided yet. You know why? Because you and me haven't made up our minds. That's why the future hasn't happened yet. When you get that, we win this. I love you. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle.